Greetings everybody, it's Emily from Pages and Ink, and today I was going to do my favorite Friday jar, but instead of drawing, I decided to just talk about my favorite female authors in honor of National Women's History Month. So yeah, I originally was going to pull from my jar, but after pulling a couple times, I couldn't find anything that I really felt would work for this month. So I decided to just go ahead and talk about it, because most of my favorite authors, if not all of them, are female. I think there's only one of my favorites that's male. So I guess I get to talk about them. Right now, my favorite author has to be kind of a tie between Alexandra Bracken, who wrote the Darkest Minds series, as well as Sarah J. Maas, who wrote Throne of Glass as well as A Court of Thorns and Roses, because those two series that Sarah J. Maas has written, like, those are the only things that I've read by her, and they're just... I know there are people that just can't get into them, and while I understand, it's also kind of like, how? Because to me, they're just so... Throne of Glass, I think, was her first book, so it's a little, you know, it's not as good as her later books. Her later books are all fantastic. Like, A Court of Thorns and Roses I was really excited for, because it was supposed to be, well, it is, a Beauty and the Beast retelling. But then I also read A Court of Mist and Fury, and I was just like, it got better. And the third one, because she extended the series, which when I read, I was like, yeah. Because when I heard at first that it was going to be a trilogy, I was like, this cannot be a trilogy. You cannot do this to us. Because they're just so good. If we only had 3 books of this world, I don't think we could stand it. So it's going to be 6, I think. But they're really well written, in my opinion. There's strong female characters. So there's Selena, as well as Princess Nehemia, and name that escapes me. She's an antagonist for the first part of the books, but she gets better when you kind of learn why. Can't remember her name. There's Manon, who is a awesome witch and can fly a frigging wyvern. And there's just so many awesome characters in Throne of Glass. And then in A Court of Thorns and Roses, we have Morrigan and Feyre, and Feyre's sisters, Nesta and Elaine, I think. And even Amren. I almost forgot her name. I was like, ooh. Amren. They're just such good characters. So those are all very positive female characters to talk about. And then in Alexandra Bracken's books, I have read Passenger, Darkest Minds, and Brightly Woven, which was, I believe, her debut novel. That was just a standalone, but that was actually pretty good. I mean, it was kind of... She definitely has a thing for color, because in Darkest Minds and Brightly Woven, color played a really huge thing, or a really huge part of it. Not so much in Passenger, though. Not that I can remember. There's... I'm trying to think of... because I lost the sentence I was going to say. There are 2 really strong female characters in The Darkest Minds, which is the main character Ruby, as well as Suzume, or Zu, who starts off pretty internalized, pretty quiet, but then kind of grows into a more expressive person. She's kind of mute because of something that happened at camp. But as time goes on, she becomes more expressive with her body, even though she's still not talking, which is, I feel like it's good character development, you know. And Suzume is just a really lovable character. Then there is also the characters in Passenger. One of them can play violin, which is awesome. I really want to learn how to play violin. But yeah, so those are 2 of... They're at a tie for my favorite female author, really. I can't really pick at the moment. Because I love Alex. I like following her Instagrams as well as her little Lord Tenny his Instagrams. I follow her on Snapchat as well. And I love Alex. She's just a fantastic person and an awesome writer. Another person that I really enjoy reading her works is Marissa Meyer, who wrote Heartless as well as the Lunar Chronicles, which I am currently doing a read-along on. And those characters all feature some pretty strong characters. So there is the Queen of Hearts before. I forgot what her name is. I think it's Catherine. Then there's Cinder, who is a cyborg mechanic who, in my opinion, is a very strong female character. Scarlet, who doesn't take crap from anybody. There's Cress, who kind of learns to come out of her shell a whole lot more, and she's actually very bright and very good at technology. And Winter, who she's her own person. She doesn't kind of conform to the norms that is Lunar Society. Then there's also the antagonist, who is Livana, who, while she's a villain, she's also a pretty strong villain. And, yeah. So, that's a really good series. Also very female dominated, because if you look at quite a few series, especially even just like in TV series, there's like one main strong female character, and then everybody else is either a side character or they're all guys. Another author that I have come to like reading is, well, not come to. She was part of the group of people that allowed me to start reading again, and that is Kelly Armstrong, who wrote the Darkest Hour series, which I have read multiple times, and the main character is probably one of the most flawed main characters I've read, because she just makes so many mistakes, and she is ultimately useless in a fight because she doesn't know how to fight. Doesn't mean that she doesn't try, but, you know, she's not like Juniperus, who is good at pretty much anything. She's good in combat, she's smart, she knows her stuff, like, I don't want to say spy-wise, but that's kind of where I'm going with that statement. Trying to think of any other authors that I've read a whole bunch of books from. I mean, I haven't read a whole bunch of books from Kelly Armstrong, just the one series. Well, in one series, and then I started reading another series. Kiera Cass is a pretty good author. I know a lot of people aren't very into her books because it's kind of a weird concept. It's like The Bachelor meets a dystopia, because they're in a caste system, and there's like a rebellion going on at the same time as the like Bachelorette situation, or the Bachelor situation. Bachelorette situation is in later books, because it's the whole series, but it's kind of divided into two stories. So there's the story of America, and then there's the story of the next queen, or the next princess to become queen, or whatever. And her name currently escapes me, because it's been a little bit. I'm pretty sure it starts with an E. I think. But I really like those stories. As much as America annoys me, I still feel like it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty good series to me. Twilight wasn't half bad. That helped me get into reading in middle school. I do enjoy me some Maggie Stiefvater. I really enjoyed The Raven Boys, and Shiver was the very first series that I read by her, and I've been meaning to read more of them. I just haven't really gotten around to it. I think I got the next book, and it just seems so... I think the second book is a lot sadder, like the feel of the story is just really dark, and at the time that I picked it up, I just couldn't handle it, and I think I was dealing with my own demons at the time. So I decided to stop, but I do need to finish the Shiver series because I did really enjoy the first book. So Maggie Stiefvater, I also really love following Maggie Stiefvater on Tumblr. She is an incredible woman. She is definitely a gift to this world, both in her responses to haters and the way that she explains things, as well as her little tidbits she puts out, and her artwork is fantastic. Like, she signed my Raven King copy, I say as I almost dropped the book and knocked the lights off my bookshelf. That is the back. My cover is on upside down. Good job, me. So she drew that, and she also drew the book plate. Like, this is a sticker. But she drew this, and then they printed it out and copied it. But she's a fantastic artist. While this is out, I'm going to flip this over because my brother borrowed it and didn't put the cover back on correctly. There is a new author that I read last year, and I'm actually really excited for the next book in the series that she put out, which the series is called Flawed, and I know I've talked about it before, but Flawed is a very good series so far that I've read. I've only read one book, but the next book comes out next month, and I'm actually pretty psyched for it because I enjoyed the first book a lot. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I mean, Renee Adhay is awesome, Sabaa Tahir, pretty much every author that I've really come to enjoy is female. I like some of Cassandra Clare's work, but I haven't read any of her new stuff since I made the, well, not made the connection, but there was talk that her series was kind of born as almost being very identical to another series that somebody else wrote, and while it gained more popularity than the other series, and there are definitely some differences, I still kind of struggle with the idea of supporting that, if in fact it is true, because while people can come up with the same idea, the fact that it's so similar is kind of what sets me off about it, or puts me off. So, I'm not going to talk much about that, but I do enjoy her book series. Every Shadowhunter book that I have read, I have enjoyed, so there's that. Renee Adhay, Kelly Armstrong, Mary Lou. I've only really liked Legend by her so far. I had read, I can't for the life of me think of the first book in the series. It's the new one that she wrote that I think the last book got released either it's this year or last year. But it has Violetta and I can't remember her name. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I'm good with names and I can't for the life of me remember their names, and it's driving me crazy. Let's see. I talked about Kiera Cass and Alexandra Bracken. I've only read one book by Julie Kagawa, and it's the Immortal series, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I knew I was going to like it, I just didn't expect that much. I really like Susan E's Angel Fall series. I hope she writes more, because I'd like to read them. Same thing with Susan Collins, because I really liked The Hunger Games. Really liked The Hunger Games enough to make 2 shirts for myself. Because I had a Hunger Games shirt that my dad got me, but I just didn't like, I don't know, I just didn't, I don't want to say it didn't suit me, because that sounds silly, but I guess I wanted something more minimal than like a giant flaming Mockingjay on my chest. So I made a Mockingjay, I made 2 Mockingjay shirts, one with like a bleach spray and the other with a paint. And maybe one day, if I have the equipment, I could always do a DIY on how to make a Bleach Hunger Games shirt. Granted, there's a lot of tutorials on it, so maybe I'll do one based on the Darkest Mind series, doing the Psy symbol, because I have been planning to do that and have yet to actually do so, so that would be a good project. Let me know if you want me to do that, because I'm not going to do it without support. I do not have good equipment for it, so I'd have to use my laptop probably, which is going to be so much fun to try to figure out how I'm going to get that done, but, you know, it's worth a shot. There's so many good authors, and I can't even, like, talk about them all at once, so you'll have to figure it out for yourself. But those are my favorite female authors, as well as some honorable mentions for some really awesome authors if you're looking. But a lot of the authors, especially in YA, that stand out, a lot of them are female. And a lot of my favorites are definitely female, so there's that. But yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. Sorry it's been kind of a quiet week. Next week should be more active. I think either I'm going to do the Beauty and the Beast tag that I have found on YouTube, or I will make my own and kind of make it like a Beauty and the Beast 2.0 type thing, because I don't want to take their tag, I want to do it myself, but they've already got a name for theirs, so I would have to make my own, but because I am excited. And then Friday I will do my Beauty and the Beast talk. Instead of drawing from my jar, I'll be Faith Friday Beauty and the Beast because I love that fairy tale. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Let's see. Next week, 17th is a Friday. Usually my Owl Crate ships the 18th or the 20th. So it's either going to be the week after next, or like it's either going to be Wednesday, not next week, but the next week after that, or Monday, depending on when my box gets shipped and when I get it. Because if it's on the 18th, I won't get it till Monday, and if it's on the 20th, I won't get it till Wednesday. That's all I have for you guys. I know this is still kind of rambly, still a little long, but I don't think I talked nearly as much as could have. Who are your favorite female authors, and maybe even who's your favorite female character? I know I've done a whole video on female characters before, so let me know who's your favorite author, and maybe your favorite female character in your favorite female author's books, in honor of, you know, National Women's History Month. Which none of this is like historical for, like it's not, none of these are historical fiction or like non-fiction historical, which is, you know, probably what I should be talking about, but I'm not big on historical fiction and I don't read much non-fiction. I think the closest thing that I've come to really reading and enjoying a non-fiction is The Diary of Anne Frank, which enjoying is kind of lax because it's about a girl who's trying to hide from Nazis during the Holocaust and ends up getting captured, and she died later in, I believe, Auschwitz, so not a happy story, but there's that. So I will see you guys next week. Hopefully it's going to be a little more active. I have decided to stick with my Lunar Chronicles read-along, if you hadn't heard that, I'm still doing that. There's still only like 2 other people that I have seen posting, but I will take it. You know, I have put too much work into it now to really give up. Yeah, I will stop rambling, and I will let you guys go and have hopefully a great weekend. I really hope my weekend is good, because I could really use a good weekend. And I will see you guys next week. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading.